Imagine hosting your first ever webinar and you have no fucking clue what you're doing. Only one person shows up, but they become your first big client. This is the story of exactly how I hit my first 10K month with no funnel, no website, no email list, and no huge audience or no ads for that matter. I'm a big believer in that there's no one right way, only consistency, but you only figure out what your way is by doing the messy action. So the way this all went down is I was ghosted by a client for the third time. This was when I was in door-to-door sales selling water coolers. And I was just so frustrated. I was like, how could he fucking stand me up again? He had me drive an hour across town, and then I know he sees me, but he's gonna act like he doesn't see me. Am I that shitty of a person? Like, I don't fucking matter because I'm a salesperson? And like, he told me to be here. What the fuck? So I go back to my car. I'm eating my apples, drinking my Diet Coke, and I decided I was gonna spend some quality time scrolling TikTok lives because, why not? I was really feeling defeated at this point, but I came across this guy, Mike Gowans, and he had a whiteboard out and he was talking about Skool and how he uses it in his business and that you don't need a website, an email list, a payment processor, course platform. You don't need any of those things, just Skool. And I had tried other platforms at this point. I had been on Kajabi, Thinkific, Teachable, and none of them had really Thrivecart. Oh God, Thrivecart, so complicated. None of them had really worked for me. I still didn't have like an email, like a funnel. I didn't really have any of that stuff. And so even though I wasn't quite sure how it was all going to fit together and if this was something that would actually work for me, I had this intuitive sense. First of all, I was super frustrated at my job and I was like, you're not going to do this forever, Amanda. You got to do something. And so I decided he was pitching his program and I ended up joining his paid school. And I just did everything the way he was doing it because I feel like that's how you become successful at first is modeling. You just do what you know how to do as best as you can. And he always had this saying, he was like, we can't improve nothing, meaning do not come here week after week with the same fucking question without taking action. And so one of the actions that he recommended was weekly webinars. And I didn't know shit about webinars, but I was like, hey, I could do it. Well, why not? It can't be that hard. So I did. I took fast, messy action and I hosted a terrible first webinar. It was really not good. I just recorded this 0 to 40K spiritual business system video that had slides and it was just so like polished professional. And I was telling the story and there, I'm like, what you're seeing now is worlds away from what this webinar looked like. I think I had it on a Miro board and it was just so messy. And then this guy joined and I was like, oh shit. Within 90 days, I had hit my first 10K month. And what changed was, first of all, I now had a platform where I could send people to from my content, which was really kind of like a lab or a training ground for me because I was able to, talk to these members, like deepen the relationship off of social media. And I think that it really set me apart at this point. And I was doing everything the way Mike was doing it because I didn't know any other way. And I'm the kind of person who I take things very literally. And I feel like I have to do everything exactly how someone's saying it or it's not going to work. And so I was doing everything the way he was doing it. But this Mike Gowans he's an OG, man. This guy has been doing this for 20 years and he's a generator with all of his energy centers defined. So he could crank out a course or a funnel or an email sequence in his sleep. It's just so simple to him. And even though I was good with tech at this point, I'd been in marketing for a while, it still all felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill. And I did. I hit my first 10K month within 90 days. And that was when I realized like this could really work. And I had told myself if I could just get to 10K months in my coaching business, I could leave my job. And I did. Honestly, what happened was after doing it the way Mike was doing it for long enough to kind of find what was working and what wasn't working for me, I realized as a projector, I wouldn't necessarily say he's bro marketing, but just very hustle. And it was burning me out. I'm not going to lie, it was. But I'd figured out what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And I really started to trust myself instead of obsessing over the perfect funnel or a strategy. I started focusing on connection and trust over conversion because I realized when you have trust, you have conversions. They're the same thing. It's not about pushy sales sales or fake urgency or bro marketing or perfect funnels. It's not about any of that. It's about people trusting you, because in the coaching industry, which is unregulated, there's so many people out here selling this thing. What sets you apart is that personal connection. It's the trust. We live in a world with a huge trust deficit, and people have to spend an average on the low end of 7 to 11 hours with you before they feel comfortable making a purchase decision. And I stopped trying to impress people and be the perfect person, just like really started to help, to find out what they were struggling with. And I know that having a school allowed me to do that, because I was able to go live on TikTok and send them to my free school. I started adding resources to the classroom and just really kind of finding my way and my speed. And at this point, I had made so many courses. Oh my God, so many courses. And I came across this idea. They were like, do not sell a course until you do this. And the idea is that you don't build the course first. You start with helping people and doing one-on-one work, working with clients one-on-one, because it's so much more simple to deliver on. You're never going to hit 10K months with a $200 course and, 1,000 people in your audience. You might, but it's going to take a while. It's just simple math. You don't start by building the perfect course and then the clients come. You start building connection and building trust and serving people at the highest level. And then people will raise their hand and say, hey, I want to work with you. I resonate with you. Your story, I connect with your story. And they do. So what I got from this is that simple sells. It always has and it always will. If you don't know how to do a webinar or a funnel or an email list, you can find your way of doing this. Simple. Simple is sexy as fuck. And so what Skool allowed me to do was make it simple, because at this point, I knew the importance of nurturing your audience and of having an email list and nurturing people, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. It just felt so complicated. I was like, there's so many automations and sequences and triggers, and it was just all so much for me. I couldn't do it, but I could set up a school, because it literally took me an hour to set it up. And then I just started adding things to it over time based on what people had asked for. And it wasn't a whole course. I realized I'd been way overcomplicating this whole situation. You don't need a funnel. You just need a vibe and a system. Community itself converts faster than cold DMing a bunch of people or making a course. It's so simple that people overlook it, because what's simple to do is also simple not to do. And you've been trained to make things complicated, because it's a badge of honor or something. You see all these people selling courses and you're like, oh, I'll just make a course. But the truth is, I had put so much time into this one course. This is my little story about this. It was called Her Millionaire Mindset. And I had put so much effort into this course and setting up the Thrive Cart landing page and the funnel and the upsells and the downsells. And at first, I think I was charging $297 for it. No one bought. I lowered it to $197 and then $97 and then $47. And nobody bought the fucking course, because first of all, nobody had asked me for that course. I just thought it was a good way to make money. And I was like, oh, I'll just sell enough of these courses so one day I can actually be a coach and be full-time online. And that's just not how it works. It's not how it works. So if you've been fucking around with your website or your landing page or your funnel or your email list for a while now, and it's not converting as much as you would like, or it's not working, let's simplify this. One of the best ways I know to do this is using your human design, because I realized as a self-projector, my clarity comes when I speak things out loud. That's why I'm here recording this episode. I'm also here to guide people through a system to optimize and streamline the energy that the generators and the manifesting generators create. I'm not here to do all of the work. I'm here to guide people and show them an easier converting way. But I wouldn't have figured any of this out had I not been willing to do the shitty work. If something is worth doing, it is worth doing poorly. We cannot improve nothing. My first webinar was terrible, but it was aligned for me. And when I speak my truth, the right people come. And that's true no matter who you are, what your human design is. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. There is a simple way to do this that is aligned with your energy. And if you are exhausted exhausted by trying to make the perfect funnel or build your list with no results, I created my 0 to 40K spiritual business system step by step, which is exactly how I went from 0 to 40K in 6 months using human design and Skool. You don't need to do more. You need to trust more and let your energy lead. I love you. I'll see you in the next time.